Hi everybody, happy Wicked Wednesday and welcome to Shivers. Stemming off of my hate of A24 films last week, today we're going to talk about our horror artist of the month, that being Ari Aster. Ari Aster was born in New York City on July 15th, 1986. As a child, he and his family briefly lived in England, where his father opened a jazz nightclub in Chester. When he was 10 years old, they returned to the United States and settled in Albuquerque, New Mexico, where he spent the remainder of his childhood. Ari Aster originally aspired to become an author and became interested in filmmaking through screenwriting. Although he would not actually begin making films until college, he had written 6 feature-length screenplays during his high school years. As a child, he became obsessed with horror films and frequently rented them from local video stores, saying, "I just exhausted the horror section of every video store I could find. I didn't know how to assemble people who would cooperate on something like that. I found myself just writing screenplays." A couple of years ago, he basically put out a list of his favorite horror movies of all time, in no particular order, saying Sancho the Bailiff, Vertigo, 8.5, Persona, Playtime, Barry Lyndon, Songs from the Second Floor, and A Serious Man are some of his favorites. However, he did state that his belief in ranking art is quote-unquote the fool's errand, saying he didn't want to put them in any particular order. In 2004, he began studying film at the Santa Fe University of Art and Design, where he also wrote for the local weekly Alibi art magazine. He graduated in 2008 and debuted as the writer and director of the short film Tale of Two Tims, which he submitted to the American Film Institute. This led him to being accepted into the 2010 class of fellows at the AFI Conservatory's graduate program, where he earned his master's degree with a focus in directing. After graduating from the AFI Conservatory, Ari Aster wrote and directed several more short films between 2011 and 2018, often teaming with his AFI Conservatory friends. The most notable project was the short psychological horror film that really put him on the map, The Strange Thing About the Johnsons, which came out in 2011. This follows members of a suburban family in which the father finds himself trapped in a funky relationship with his abusive son. The film was Aster's thesis film while studying at the AFI Conservatory and was later screened at film festivals. It premiered at the Slamdance Film Festival in Utah on January 22nd, 2011, before leaking online in November, where it went viral. Ari Aster then made his feature-length directorial debut when he wrote and directed the supernatural horror film Hereditary in 2018. The film premiered in the midnight section at that year's Sundance Film Festival and was theatrically released in the United States on June 8, 2018. It grossed over $80 million on a $10 million budget, becoming A24's highest grossing film worldwide and also helping put A24 on the map. Ari Aster next wrote and directed the folk horror film Midsummer in 2019, which was also produced by A24. Midsummer was theatrically released in the United States on July 3rd, 2019. Ari Aster's original 171-minute cut of the film, which A24 asked him to trim down for a wide theatrical release, had its world premiere at the Film Society in Lincoln Center of New York City as part of the Scary Movies lineup on August 20th. For his work on the film, Aster received a nomination for Best Screenplay at the 29th Gotham Independent Film Awards. In June of 2019, Aster and Danish producer Lars Knudsen announced that they had launched a new production company called Square Peg. In June of 2020, Aster said his next film would be a nightmare comedy that would last 4 hours. In February 2021, A24 announced that Aster would write and direct Beau is Afraid, which came out in 2023, as its third partnership with him. This film follows an anxiety-fueled and paranoid middle-aged man who must venture out on a surreal odyssey to visit his mother's home. It was originally titled Disappointment Boulevard and was released in theaters on April 21st, 2023. The film received mixed reviews, with some critics and viewers praising Aster's direction and Joaquin's Joaquin Phoenix's performance. But the film was not a commercial success, as it earned only around $10 million at the box office against a budget of $35 million. So, that is a little bit of history on Ari Aster. Thank you for listening to today's Wicked Wednesday, and check out some of his stories. He has a lot of blog posts as well that you can find online, some of his short stories, some of his stories that he wrote in high school, and they're very interesting. He's obviously an incredibly popular and unique individual. He is really the innovator of that elevated horror genre. And so, as much as I'm not a fan of the stories themselves, I have to give credit where credit's due. So, that is it for Wicked Wednesday. Thank you for listening, as always.